back for the second week.
Yep,
3-2 bases loaded, dog.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with a crazy hot topic. But before, hey, how was your day, man? You had a good day? You're looking good?
Always.
Always. You put a little chapstick? Ooh, the little mama
did.
gave you a besito.
Man, hey, you know what? Like, I'm really not paying attention, but the Caribbean series going back, and it just reminds me of last week seeing the final of the Dominican series, man. That Dominican series, and they said it was one of the best ones in history, the finals in that history. I'm hoping to get Gilbert Gomez in here. Then maybe he can spend some time, talking to us. But I went back and I thought about it. And just, man, what a passion.
Atmosphere.
The passion, yes.
But that lets you know too, like the baseball in the Dominican Republic is just gonna get better and better. Not because of the players, but because, man, people actually are going all out.
I've been saying it for a while now. I think that there's not a better venue to watch a baseball game than El Quisqueya.
Oh,
I think that's.
Man, you get chill bum just watching that game.
Well, I mean, it's only that. It's just from the I happen to been able to witness, or not witness, but I actually saw a game. I want to say a few years ago, I went and saw a Venezuela Dominican Republic game in a Caribbean cities in the Quisqueya. And let me tell you, man, it's incredible. It's incredible, the atmosphere. And, like, you honestly, you don't know who's winning or losing.
Yeah.
Unless you look at the score.
Yes. That's when you know, man. Everybody's going all out. Every base hit matters. Every pitch, every throw. I mean, it's a big game changer, which brings me back to this. Back home in Puerto Rico, there's also the league where you got a couple big leaguers that come in and play.
Yeah,
but
man, yeah.
Man, it's nothing compared.
Not as much, man. You can't compare to Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, how they are winning the ball, And I think somebody made a comment. Somebody made a comment about the league in Puerto Rico that said, I wish that the games will be more towards the weekend and maybe doubleheader on Sunday. I think that will draw a bigger crowd. I mean, but who knows? I really don't know.
And at the end of the day, it's not a priority right now.
It's really not.
Which sucks. Because, I mean, in Dominican, they didn't care if they had to go work the next day.
The priority Puerto Rico is Luma,
Plus, they don't have electricity. I mean, the power goes out every 3 hours.
Let's not.
Which, man, it was sad. Man, I got to go home and spend some time with the family. And but at the end of the day, man, you know what I saw is that a lot of Puerto Ricans are leaving to come to the States, and now Americans are going to Puerto Rico. Man, they're taking over.
Well, the Bad Bunny album said it all. Talks about that culture, and quite frankly, I think there's a lot of, including myself, I think there's a lot of things that are wanting that you're not really seeing about that culture in Puerto Rico. You wish you seen it when you were younger.
Yeah.
Me in particular. I mean, all those things like, la calle de la fiesta de la calle San Sebastián. Like, I was like, man, like that's.
Man, I'm gonna try to see if I can go next year. I never been. I know it was crazy. My parents got to go, and
well, last week we discussed a little bit of tryouts, and we everybody's like, we got our feet wet again, and now.
This one is hot. This one's gonna be a hot one, and I know this one.
I think people are talking, and I think from your side of the story, you went from a really good team to all of a sudden the team dismantled.
Yep.
You don't have to put anybody out, single anybody out, but I think people want to know your side of the story of what you felt like.
Yeah, ready? Yeah. No, man, to be honest with you, in 10 years of coaching, that has never happened to me. Never. You always lose a player or two, which I think at the end of the day is normal. I think that every team out there, every coach out there, you can't tell me that you lost a player that all you guys stay together from 5 years ago. Every year you add
You
two,
always
three
add and
kids.
lose one, and
If
just
you lose one guy only, man, congrats, man. You're doing a great job. Okay. But if by the time that you lose two, three, four guys, that's when you're like, hey, by the time that those guys that you recruit come in, you're going at it with a new team. And to me, that can happen to me every year, since I've been here. I have a team, I lose two or three guys, then I find myself bringing three or four more, and then it's a new chemistry.
Yeah.
It's a new chemistry for a team. And this is for anybody out there. For a team to finally get their rhythm, they need time. They need time together. They need to play together. They need to train together. But in so many cases, not all the kids show up to practice. You may have 4 or 5 consistently. So you don't really have a full team practice. You have some guys that show up. You got guys that leave out of town that come in, and you only see them in the tournaments, which makes it even harder. But going back to your question, I will not use this platform to
talk negative.
talk crap about anybody. I feel like, man, I still talk to the parents. I still talk to the kids. I actually saw 2 kids. I went out to eat and I saw one of them, and man, he saw me, gave me the biggest hug, and to me it made my day because yes, we're not longer together, but they still look you up as a coach. They call me, they text me, hey, what you got going on? And to me, I mean, that's just huge. But we started the season. I had about 6 players from my old team of last spring,
Yeah.
and I added about 4 or 5 new ones, which means it's gonna be a new team. So half and half, you got kids that are coming from a really good team, which we know Gold Culture is split up. Some of the players came to be with me. Great parents, great families, nothing against them. And then I have some. So my vision was I need my guys to play 14U in the fall. Play 14U. Of course, you got to use a drop 3. None of my kids, maybe except 2, have used a drop 3 before, which means that the whole team is going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to struggle. Okay, we won some games. We won about half and half. Whenever you go play up, we were not playing 14 AA. We're playing 14 AAA, 14 open. So when you go out there, you're not going to go out there and just demolish everyone. Right. There were some close games and there were some games that we lost. So now in the eyes of parents, we're losing quite a bit. So now I have about half of parents that want to go back to 13, and I have half that are like, man, I don't care if we win or lose. I want my kid to get ready for high school. So now whenever you got that going, it makes it harder on the coach because any team that right now that does not win, that is a team that's not going to last. Parents want to win. I don't care what they say. Parents want to win.
When did it become negative for you to win 2-1 ball games or 3-2 ball games? Now, if you're not kicking everybody's butt, like if you're not winning 11-1 every game, like, oh, you're not that good. Like, what do you mean? Like,
so we get back to the point that when the fall ended, of course, I had a couple of people that reach out and say, hey, we love you as a coach. I feel like, the team's not there yet. We're going to move on and look for something else. Hey, it's all right. Thank you. We love your kid. We'll stay in touch. We won't get awkward when we see each other. And, that's fine. But then, of course, it starts spreading out from parents to parents.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I heard so-and-so left. Oh, man, the team won't be competitive anymore. I guess we got to go. We got to go.
Yeah.
So now people start dropping to the point that I end up with maybe 7 guys.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, at the end of that time, I spoke to those parents. I called them personally. I said, hey, guys, if I was another guy, I'd try to fill up the team with, just try to bring body. Just bring it up. But I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna hold on to you or your kid when I know we won't be able to compete at the level that we've been competing at. And I was honest with them. And they understood. At that moment, I released them and said, hey, man, we love y'all. Thank y'all for a great fall. Thank you for, the guys that have been with me for a while. Thank you for the 4th years that y'all been with me. And it was time to let them go. When you start losing some key players, every team has those players that stand out, of course. And I think that we can agree on that. So when those guys decide to move on, then it puts those guys that are left in a position where they're like, oh, man, we lost this guy. So they just start calling people left and right. And that's how everything went down.
It's your fault, dude. I told you that you needed to use the word national.
Man,
national.
Can you believe that? I heard that. That, hey, we love you as a coach, but we want to make sure that our kid gets exposed to the higher level, and that's okay. Me personally, I did not play on a national team. I did not.
Neither did I.
I got drafted out of high school, and I didn't play on a national team. We didn't have my money. We didn't even have money to pay for travelable expenses. Did that mean that I wasn't good enough to play Pro Bowl? No. But everybody gets caught up these days that if you don't put national, if you don't have a national team on your program, it won't do any good. Nobody wants to come play for you. Man, there's some great coaches out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Great coaches, but they don't have a stacked team that attracts other players. So at the end of the day, it's not going to work. And let me tell you about this. Go ahead.
I'm telling you right now, man, I really hope Little League comes back.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming.
No, I know that it's not. I really know that it's not. But if you think about this, it is the only youth organization in the whole United States that you actually indeed playing for something.
Yep.
Like you have to win out in order for you to win something.
That's right.
Where did that became an old school mentality? When did that became something that it was no longer cool? Because I'd rather go play at the Super A19 Houston and you play 4 games, which is crazy because you can go to Super A19 and win every game and still not making a bracket. And
everybody wants to stack it up. Everybody want to have a stack.
I just don't understand, where is this at? And, when I was talking to Coach Sonato back in last year, we talk about how his involvement with the middle school program, his involvement with his middle school feeders. But even at that point, he's like, whenever back in the day, you knew you had them for 4 years. You no longer had that.
No.
And that's the same thing with teams now. You don't know. This is on a base-to-base year. You don't know if you're going to have this kid next year.
To be honest, no parent. There's no contract that they can fill up that those kids that you have in the spring this year will come back next.
Where do we? So everything's individualized, right? Everything is about ex velo. Everything's about how hard can I max effort, the pull down throw. Where's the team concept at? I just don't.
None.
There's not. So why do you care if you win or lose?
There's some people that will tell you they don't care about winning or losing.
But that's a lie.
Exactly. Until you're getting your butt kicked, and now you start having other teams reach out. Because that's what happened with national teams this day. Okay, let me tell you about this national team that was kicking butt on NCS tournament every weekend. NCS and Perfect Game. They were destroying everybody. Okay? So they were not a national team at that moment. Okay, they were a good team, but some of those kids on that team they were getting attacked by some of this national team because all of a sudden they put a name for themselves out there. So they start reaching out to them. Yeah. So now it puts some pressure on the coach. The team end up splitting up, okay? So the only thing that the coach could do was to name the team a national team. That's the only way he was going to be able to save his team.
Look at that.
Just to put a name, just to put the name to save his team. Okay? So that just lets you know right there that it's no longer about the players. The team could be really good, but if you don't put the national name in front of it, all of a sudden this national team around is going to reach out to you, and now I got to go play national. Okay, that's what you get from these parents that are leaving the team. I got to go play national. What is that even national? Okay, we go to the same tournaments that they go, and we're not a national team.
So, in the fall, Samuel went and guest played with an organization, and they play a national team. And it was tied to the last inning. You have no business putting yourself national if you're not going to go out here and beat the living crap out of everybody.
That's true. That's true. And I've seen it. I've seen AAA teams beating national teams.
And look.
Or holding them down till, of course, they run out of pitchers and then they get overpowered.
There's a team out here that the coaches, their kids are on the team. Both coaches, the head coach and assistant, their kids are both on the team. On a top level team. They're the two worst players on the team. So, can you really call yourself a true national, hey, we picked this team? No, it's not. Because the next level team, I know for a fact the next level team has 6 or 7 players. They're better than those two. So why are those kids getting penalized to play with all those kids? Hey, just be truthful. Just be truthful about what you want to do. But this word national, this.
It's getting out of control. It's getting out of control. People are just putting the name of it just to attract players. That's the only reason. Your coach, still a dad that does know what he's doing, but he's going to put national. So now all of a sudden, people think, oh, they're a national team.
Put the Superman cape on.
We go over there. Okay. I'm registering my teams to play in tournaments, right? And I have an 11U team, I have a 13U team, and we're not at a big rank level. Okay, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I started like that. All right, but while I'm looking, I'm like, man, I mean, how this all rank, this national team that just put their name on it, are playing on a AAA tournament, on an NCS tournament, but you all of a sudden you're national, but you're going over here and putting your team in a tournament where you can easily destroy everybody? Yeah. Like, are you serious? Like, if you call yourself a national team, you better go play up.
Like, I'm calling perfect. I'm calling out perfect game right now, and I really wish somebody would really come up with an actual league. Come up with a league, a nationwide league that you actually play. You actually play a season. The coverage, multimedia, be able to hold stats. I'm actually calling out a perfect game because they're the ones responsible for all this that they're doing.
Exactly.
So if you want to do it that way, do it the right way.
Or you should put tournament for those teams only and see if they're actually going to go there.
Yeah.
They're not, because if you call yourself a national team, but you're playing in a tournament where you're clearly going to destroy everybody, what are you doing it for? Yeah, you're doing it for the glory. You're doing it for ranking. You're doing it because exactly. But at the end of the day, go play up. Go play 14. If you're 13, go play 14.
Yeah.
But don't you call yourself a national team, and you're gonna get in a AAA tournament with teams that you got? Man, they have no chance.
No chance.
Go play the big boys. But no, they is all for the propaganda. So if you're putting that in front of your team just so you can recruit players, tell you, man, it's not gonna last.
If you're a
the
national,
truth's gonna come out. The truth's gonna come out.
There shouldn't be a national team. There shouldn't be a national team that should play a true national team that should play the same age any local tournament. You should be playing up.
They shouldn't.
There's no there because you should win it.
Exactly.
You should be able to win it.
You better win it.
You better win it.
Because if you don't win it, your team is going to split up real quick.
Yeah. So,
which that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about because, you know, a lot of these teams that, of course, they're big name teams, they can't afford to lose tournaments. They can't.
They can.
You know, because when they start going on a losing streak, now all those players from your team, they start calling the teams that beat you.
Yeah.
So you are in a 50-50 situation that if you start losing a lot of games, you are
when
in
do you
serious
think this
trouble.
happened, man? When did this really took over and just like
propaganda, man? It's just at the end of the day.
Like, does this people really?
Don't you think you'll make more money if you call yourself a national team?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna call myself a national coach.
Okay.
I'm a national coach.
I'm a national coach, so because I'm gonna make more money.
I'm a national coach, so I need to make more money.
So that's all it is. You know, I feel like, especially in this area, it's all left and right. I mean, you see it all over tryouts.
Yeah.
We have this. We got a ranked team. We have a national team. Great. That was great. That is the only way to attract people.
You know, it's like there's an organization that I know for a fact here in the Metroplex. They lost every pool game in a AA World Series in Panama City. Don't know the age. I think 12 or whatever. They lost every game at Gold Shores. Every pool game. They end up winning. Not even the bronze division. What's the copper division? Yet they advertised we were the World Series champions at Gold Shore. No, you weren't. You took the Cooper prize.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop. And I just look, if it was you, then I'm sorry, dude. It is what it is. But the point I'm trying to make out there is this. It's like, stop trying to do so much for you to these players. And parents, stop being so ignorant.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Parents, stop being so ignorant about what this thing is. You know, like, look, like, be realistic. Be realistic what you are. Be realistic of what you want to get out of your son. And then, you know, and then don't get shocked when things don't go the way that they say they were, because they're not.
Yeah. Man, at the end of the day, of course, some people might be like, these guys might be jealous that, you know, they wish they had what we have. No, we don't wish what we have.
Man, come on,
all
dude.
we're doing is trying to make money.
You know, I tell you, you know, everybody knows that the past few weeks, you know, I made a decision or I'm leaning towards something different. And I said, and I've talked to my wife, obviously, and she's been obviously my support through all this. There's nothing that I have not been able to accomplish in any level. I think I'm probably one of the few guys in the Metroplex that can say that I've coached at every level. Youth, select, high school, college, and the pros. You know, so the point that I'm trying to make is not jealousy. I seen it all. I seen what it takes. I'm just giving you guys honest feedback.
Yep. Honest feedback.
And like, look, I'm not trying to sound cocky. I'm not trying to sound arrogant. I'm not trying to say that I know it all. I'm not trying to say none of that. But what I am saying is that you as a parent, we got to do what's best for our kids. I understand that.
Yep.
You know, and sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you have to go to these organizations and pay some amount of money. But don't get shocked when things don't go right.
Yep.
your expectations should be so high about it.
Regardless of where you go, man. Regardless of where you go, of course, not every organization is perfect.
It's like
They're
coaches.
gonna have their up and downs, you know.
It's like coaches, you know. There's coaches out there. There's good coaches. There's bad coaches out there.
Yeah.
There's more bad coaches than good coaches out there because what happens is, like what you said last week was, good coaches are not going to put up with this crap.
They're not.
They say the hell with this.
A dad will, because a dad has a kid on the team, so he has to put up with it.
And he plays for free.
So what happens if dad gets tired?
Yeah, man.
And he takes his kid? What happens to the team?
Yeah, that's
what happens to your little team if your kid is no longer performing.
Man, I do. I'm telling you right now, man. I am gonna make this shout out. I am gonna make this shout out to Perfect Game, and I make a nationwide league, man. Make a nationwide league where you're gonna have to keep kids in rosters. You can keep, because that's the thing. Like, you can no longer, like, hey, anybody can go play for anybody every given weekend. Yep. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Like, but these kids need to learn some other values other than, if things don't work out, I can just go anywhere. And guess what? The same thing keeps trending throughout. Because look, back in the day, like, and I'll speak for myself. If I didn't make the high school team, my mom ain't moving nowhere else to put me to another high school. No, like, she ain't. Like, you didn't make the team. Well, man, SOL, man. I mean, you.
And just like
now
we talked
those
about
options
last
are
week,
available.
Just like we talked about last week, you know, parents that are spending all this money through their youth, and then the kid makes it to high school, and they don't even make their high school team, but they were in the top team in the area.
Yeah.
So you were in the top team.
Did they ask for a refund? They should ask for a refund.
So at the end of the day, there's gonna be a big wake up call for all these parents. I mean, you're traveling all over the world, and then when you get to high school, you better buckle up, because your little baby that's been killing it, okay, he's gonna have to sit, and if he's not used to sitting, guess what? Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have a hard time.
Like what they say in Call of Duty. Frack you. Hey. Well, with that being said, guys, hey, we want to thank you for being back. You know, subscribers keeps adding up, little at a time. You know, we're doing this for enjoyment. We ain't trying to, you know. Obviously, we
this is a little hobby for us, man. We love it.
We enjoy it, man, and we're glad that we're back. Stay tuned. There's gonna be some great guests coming, man. Like they are, man. I heard Rudy Jaramillo might be popping into the studio sometime soon, so I can't wait for that, man. So with that being said, we see you next Friday. 3-2, bases loaded, dog.